Hello, I'm Mac Dudkwitz, and today I will be conducting an experiment that shows the process of weathering, erosion, and deposition. Materials needed for this experiment are 2 baking pans, sand, water, and books. Before I get into the experiment, it is important to know what a meandering river is and how the erosion takes place. Meandering rivers generally look something like this. Due to the direction of the water flowing, weathering takes place on the outside banks and it is eroded downstream and into a lake that is at the mouth of the river. My future experiment will show this. To start this experiment off, I fill a baking pan with sand, which represents a hill or a mountainside. To give it slope, I place one end of the pan on top of 2 books. This slope allows gravity to pull the water down to the base of the hill. Next, I create a valley using one of my fingers, which represents a riverbed running down the slope. I create a somewhat meandering river to amplify the weathering and erosion. I will then pour water down this area to represent the actual movement of the water. As the water runs down the bed, you can see the sand being removed from the banks. This is called weathering. The sand that was removed then flows along with the water to the bottom of the pan. This would be called erosion. The sand that is stationary in the middle of the pan is an example of deposition. In the next clip, I will give a better example of deposition. Here is a different setup with a longer river and another pan at the bottom acting as a lake. The eroded sand will exit the mouth of the river and enter the lake. As the water flows, the same things happen. Sand is weathered from the banks and erosion carries it to the mouth. As you can see, the eroded sand comes to a halt once it reaches the still water. The large grains of sand almost immediately drop, while the smaller grains continue to travel to about the middle of the pan. This deposition is much more accurate to how it happens in real rivers and lakes. Thank you for watching my example of weathering, erosion, and deposition on a smaller scale.